Turn to page 52 for clues. At the rate I'm going, I'll never score a copy of RocketKnightAdventures. If only there was an easier way to fill this blasted crossword puzzle out. And let's face it, the internet's not going to be helpful for this sort of stuff for at least another decade. Shoot, I'd even settle for that sweet bomber jacket right about now. I really could use an upgrade from this old Nintendo Power one anyway. There's those handful of games you stumble upon that seem tailor-made to your personal gaming palette. You may have spotted one of these in the wild, watched gameplay footage of them, or even go as far as to purchase one at some point along the way, only to find their way into your back catalog of games. For one reason or another, you just never got around to playing these. Funny thing about this particular story is, I tend to gravitate towards platformers. They're often easy to pick up and play, varying in the overall challenge. Some get the stigma of being a Mario or Sonic clone, and in some cases, you could absolutely argue the case. Circumstantially, many of these have similar underlying play mechanics, but the upside here is that they often present us with unique worlds and environments that may find you falling in love with the overarching themes and quirky personalities scattered throughout. The fact of the matter here is someone had to do it first, and if a company gets too comfortable racking in all those box office bucks, chances are a challenger brand will step to the plate and fill the void left behind. Yeah, I guess I really don't sugarcoat my feelings, that's for sure, but that doesn't mean I love these franchises any less. Personally, I just welcome the change of scenery, so I never got the notion that we didn't need new platformers from time to time. I just like some variety when weaving together my personal gaming palette. I mean, you don't see me ordering the same meal for dinner every time I go out, which is why this whole rant of mine leads us back to the Rocket Knight series and why I ultimately feel the way I do about it. One game in particular that often reminds me of a personal favorite hedgehog of mine, thus leading our story back to Konami, whom have been cleverly designing their latest mascot with a particular someone's high-speed antics in mind. Many of the greats pull inspiration from a great deal of celebrated traditions, but that's merely the groundwork for success. How you build on these prior philosophies to construct new concepts results in a fresh perspective on the genre, giving this recipe the perfect ingredients to put the spark in the all-new Sparkster. With that being said, this shamefully sat on my shelf for many years after, just collecting dust. Was I really being a dirty shelf collector this entire time? Hey listen, some people get butthurt if you call them out on their bullshit. There's just no excuse for this behavior. So after I took a fresh shower to rinse the shame off, I not only made a commitment to myself to see this experience through, but put some damn respect on this little fellow's name. Staring back at this, I can't help but to think, what's the deal with this dude anyway? Actually, I need to be a bit more precise here. Just what exactly is a Rocket Knight? Well, for proper context, I believe we need to delve into some literature to learn a thing or two about this radical rodent. Whoa there, first of all, I think rodent is a bit inappropriate, don't you think? The correct term here is marsupial. It's bad enough the manual fudges things by referring to our boy as an opossum, which is what you typically find roaming around your backyards here stateside. To set the record straight, Sparkster is a possum, an awesome possum. I know what you're thinking, but no, not quite. Based off the concept art, his ancestral roots traces back all the way to his Australian origin, so it would only make sense that they would continue to screw up the continuity here as the series advances, but I digress. Regardless, his Konami lineage ties him back to the wonderful world of Elhorn, home to the kingdom of Zephyrus, where Sparkster resides among the village locals whom are highly touted for their excellence in the field of magic as well as the art of combat. So, the perfect environment to raise a young Rocket Knight, and boy do they ever. These warriors are trained at a very young age, spanning across multiple generations to protect these very lands from the neighboring inhabitants. One threat in particular, the Devo Tindos Empire, have been at war with Zephyrus for quite some time. A faction ruled by a band of misfit porkers led by Emperor Devilgus, whom has amassed a militia equipped with the most advanced weapons of war thanks to an unspecified superintelligence, which allows them to power these highly sophisticated war vessels. Their goal is quite simple: divide and conquer with their experience in robotics. It's foretold that the kingdom of Zephyrus came to be when a legendary warrior protected these very lands against a powerful empire looking for total conquest of the galaxies. They harnessed the power to wipe out the entire cosmos, with their mothership dubbed the dreaded Pigstar, not to be confused with the Death Star or Death Egg to hit more closely to home. The Empire led an all-out invasion across the planet, searching out various resources while eradicating all whom inhabit it. However, as they marched their way across the lands, this hero of legend rose to the occasion, standing shoulder to shoulder with his comrades, leading his soldiers into the field of battle. On this very day, they would prevail triumphant, claiming stake to these very lands and sealing away the dreaded Pigstar for the foreseeable future. This is the story of Zephyrus, and it would be passed down from generation to generation. As time passed, the royal family would continue this tradition by protecting the seal placed upon the Pigstar. Bearers of the sacred seal, whom train their young to protect these lands as loyal rocket knights of the kingdom. Fast forward to present day, and we're introduced to the one and only Sparkster, leader of this elite band of merry men, the watchdogs of the sacred seal. When it comes to Sparkster, there's a bit of irony in all of this, as we soon learn of his backstory, which is one shrouded in mystery. An orphan of these parts, raised by the late Mifune Sanjulu, whom not only serves as Sparkster's foster father, but current leader of the Rocket Knights. I'm not sure if these ranks are merit-based or simply by birthright, but these prospects are scouted by the kingdom's own personal talent agency, and Sparkster looks to eagerly follow in Dad's footsteps. With the power of the Pigstar locked away, it's safe to say the kingdom is constantly on high alert from those that wish to break the seal, as the ones whom hold the sacred key controls the Pigstar in their own personal pursuit of power. As loyal as these Rocket Knights may be, there's always room for jealousy and deceit to seep into the ranks of every hierarchy. The highly ranked Axel Gear will stop at nothing to become leader in his class, so much so in a fit of jealous rage, he commits the ultimate act of treason, murdering the leader of the Rocket Knights. As he quickly spirals into madness, he looks to destroy the kingdom from within, the only way he knows how, breaking the sacred seal. In the pursuit of ultimate power, he finds himself siding with the rivaling Divotindos Empire, acquiring their services to hold his kingdom's princess ransom in order to obtain the key. Getting the word of his father's death, Sparkster becomes fueled by vengeance, creating a long-standing rivalry between the two Rocket Knights, and as Axel's newly formed alliance begins to wreak havoc on the kingdom of Zephyrus, a legendary hero is born, igniting onto the scene, looking to put an end to this long-running curse placed upon his homeland. Sparkster is to the kingdom of Zephyrus what Sonic is to Planet Mobius. He's sorta got that same cool and carefree personality about him, complemented by a hella fresh coat of blue arms and that majestic blade of his. Combine this pairing with a supercharged set of offensive maneuvers, and you soon realize why he's the face that runs the place. It could also very well be for that golden flow he's sporting up top, that all the goats rock. But still, what can't he do? His handles are a beauty in motion, an 8-way directional control scheme that will find you frying up some pork belly in the most calculated of ways, which, when used in conjunction with the many tools at his disposal, makes for a fresh take on a tried and true formula. To begin, let's talk about his swordplay for just a bit. He whips up some medieval sorcery with an offensive barrage of kinetic projectiles he calls the Burst Shot. It's Link's Master Sword on overdrive, and it's extremely satisfying to use in combat. Keep in mind, you'll be tested throughout each scenario with a variety of gameplay styles, so you'll need to master these in-game physics as you strap that rocket to your back to take flight, pulling off some death-defying dives and light-speed attacks that will find you questioning each and every purchase prior to picking this one up. You'll soon be filling up your boost gauge till that combustion chamber ignites, sending you into maximum overdrive with the simple press of the D-pad, soaring across the skies into enemy lines. This component is vital for high-speed travel, especially in those pivotal moments when physics comes into play, zipping across each scene and style, pulling off some zany tricks when you least expect it. Sparkster's also got a killer ground game that I call the Super Sparkster Spin Attack, paying homage to my other boy in blue, a charged spin slash that cuts like butter as if you're in your first days of shop class. It's essential to utilize in close range combat when enemies look to pigpile it on. As you master your craft, you discover creative ways to reach each destination, ricocheting back and forth across the many landmarks you embark upon. You can catch some serious hang time too, incorporating in those killer tricks of the trade, so be sure to make good use out of that nifty tail of yours too. Sparkster really is a jack of all trades, and you'll soon be refining your aerial game for the perfect calculated attack. Ain't no mountain high enough, ain't no valley low enough to keep him from saving you. So without further ado, it's time to lock in for one wild ride, taking to the lands, sea and sky in Rocket Knight fashion. Our fabled story opens to an all-out war waged across the village grounds of Zephyrus. With the village under siege, the flames of war soon begin to rise as the sounds of heavy metal can be heard screeching across the village streets, revving their motors as they speed by. Things quickly go from 0 to 100 right from the jump as infantry pigs deploy from the skies and giant walkers scan the perimeter, looking to place this kingdom in checkmate. Although it appears all hope is lost, a lone knight has rose to this occasion as you rush into the heat of battle, shearing the metal clean off the bones of these mechanical monsters. Moving at the speed of sound, you begin to put a masterful exhibition across enemy lines, looking to trim the fat. As you quickly get your wings up underneath you, you look to the skies, calculating the perfect trajectory for a trip across the treetops for a quick snack, gracefully maneuvering from tree limb to catch some serious airtime. It's a beautiful presentation from the very start, breaking down our new play physics while traversing across the kingdom's rich roots, reclaiming this land in the name of Zephyrus. As soon as you get acquainted to the combat, things will quickly take off as you fly from scene to scene, packed with a rich assortment of gameplay modes and unique play features that creatively keeps the momentum going as you journey from sea to sky on a fun-filled flight across the kingdom, surveillancing the lands for incoming troops. It's here you get a taste of just how powerful this empire really is, as you carve out a hero's legacy across a whole new world. Without a second to lose, our hero pushes forward by any means necessary. Now, that's using your noggin. Inside the castle, things have quickly escalated as the Empire looks to heat things up here, leaving their calling card up and down the halls, setting this castle ablaze. You need to quickly and efficiently make your ascent, adjusting your boosters accordingly as you formulate a flight path. As you scale each floor, so does the Empire, turning up the heat with clever new ways to outsmart our boy at every pass. The expression on these porkers' faces tells it all, and we're just warming up the skillet here. Side note, let me remind you, we're still in Act 1 here, and shit is already bonkers as we now look to tango with a mechanical centipede bursting on through the castle walls for a quick game of whack-a-possum. He will shuffle back and forth, creating new openings for travel with an assortment of attacks, dumping some explosives on into the chamber to smoke you out, only to follow back with a devastating tail strike. It's a very formulaic boss encounter, so he will quickly exploit his weak points. However, it's done with the perfect amount of Konami charm that makes for a hella fun opener. Didn't anyone ever say it's not polite to play with your food pal? I guess this jokester will have to learn the hard way next time he wants to poke his head into our business. With the castle secure, you push ahead just in time to lay your eyes on a ghost of the past, looking to make off with Princess Sherry to secure his prize. As Sparkster pivots to make his advance, Axel cowardly pushes back, taking a leap of faith to board his sweet new air cruiser, blasting off like a real boss, looking to use the princess as a means to access the Pigstar. As he makes his grand exit, the engines kick in, creating a large gust of wind that sends our boy packing below, down into the kingdom's countryside. Traversing these lands will find you embarking on a quest across the rocky mountain ranges of Elhorn, where you soon realize you're being hunted as a massive mechanical porker rises from the nearby terrain, laser focused on its bounty. This big bitch will flail about, stretching his massive limbs out towards you. There's no time to rest as you're constantly tested by the changing tides and those mechanical tentacles looking to chop you up at their tail ends, making good use out of those killer meat cleavers. You go to work, paddling back and forth, anticipating the key moment to swiftly pop out of the water for a jet-propelled uppercut from your trusty blade. These lands are enriched with earthly prizes hidden throughout the lush tropical terrain that surrounds the waterfalls. As you travel against the current, the tides will show you the way, venturing below, deep within the coral caverns carved out with the markings of an empire. There's never a dull moment here as you trek across each new environment, rewarding you with brand new modes of play. Konami seems to excel in this type of storytelling, depicting a hero's journey through a variety of creative features and artistic offerings that encapsulates the many endeavors faced. The madness behind these minecarts appears to pay homage to the late great Donkey Kong Country series, the good old days when we still had the Kremlings on the island. Unfortunately for us, the Empire looks to cut us off at the fork when the opportunities arise. These sections can find you pulling your hair out, bringing you to a slow and steady halt, keeping you guessing from the very start. It's a race to keep the pace, flying over the cuckoo's nest, leaving it all to fate. Speaking of fate, when were we destined to cross paths with a possessed locomotive now looking for the perfect partner to partake in a quick game of chicken as you battle your way across some twisting train tracks? There's something overly satisfying about completing each stage, keeping you on your toes for whatever comes next. They transition so well, feeling episodic in delivery as if each their own side quests within the overarching story. It's these adventure elements that many platformers lack, a key ingredient that leaves a lasting imprint on you, orchestrated exceptionally by those stylized set pieces dripping in a vibrant color palette that makes areas like these underwater grottos just pop. The attention to detail is exceptional here. Stages have multiple layers of depth and shading techniques woven through, allowing for specific effects to be utilized at just the right moment, creating new ways to navigate these surroundings. As you hot-footed along the way, the game teaches you in the process. Also, can we talk about this boss encounter for a moment? It's hella tricky, requiring you to keep it moving up and over the volcanic debris. But it's not just this gripe in particular that brings my blood to a boil. It's more so something about this entire encounter that just puts me in a bad mood. Wait, hold up, I think I'm getting a vision. Oh yeah, how could I forget? It's all coming back to me now. The cherry on top of this package is the well-rounded cast of characters. Each character knows their role and portrays them brilliantly, capturing the moment every time with their many over-the-top expressions and character traits. Each cutscene is packed with personality, done so without a trace of dialogue. Sometimes less is more, and that's the thing about this entire experience. It never once overstays its welcome, constantly switching things up as you look to each chapter. You'll soon discover the Empire has assembled a massive air fleet that could give the King of Koopas a run for his money. However, what sets these aircrafts apart from the rest are their technological prowess, looking to put an end to our fearless leader once and for all. Each scenario plays off the next. You'll be battling high winds, looking for the precise moment to infiltrate Axel's airship, dropping in momentarily to give him a quick jump scare, to then head below, sneaking your way on board. Sure, this gives off a bit of those flying battery vibes, but that's sort of this game's charm, finding inspiration across a legacy of amazing platformers, while paying homage to them through the in-game tropes. As one act closes, another opens, finding Sparkster touching down into the heart of the Empire's capital. He does so in fashion, I may add, with rockets blazing. As you navigate the airspace, the difficulty quickly spikes, testing you with another brutal bullet hell. Who knew the day would come when pigs fly, hailing down from above in sequential air raids. These bite-sized bacon bits never disappoint as their resilience earns them their stripes. The sheer size and shape of this offense can be overwhelming, popping up at every pass with new inventions. It's gonna be a hike to locate the princess now, being held in the heart of the capital, trapped behind the many hurdles ahead, which challenge your reflexes in a series of trials. This exemplifies just how rich this adventure really is, especially when shit hits the fan late in game, requiring you to pick up the pace with every trick in your jetpack, so be sure to bust out that user manual. Trust me, this will save your tail as you soon reach endgame. Moments pass, and once again, you come face to face with old Axel Gear for an iconic rematch between our two favorite Rocket Knights. A test of strength, wit, and endurance, which can only be solved one way, with a killer game of Rock'em Sock'em Robots, that is. Channel your inner Mac for a bloody good walloping that will leave this robot decommissioned as you now look to confront the Vilgus to end this war once and for all. Upon arrival, you look to locate Sherry, quickly freeing her of her captor and challenging the old fool to a duel. However, this mad emperor is reluctant to throw down, appearing to have bigger plans in store for our heroes. As he makes his escape, it now appears the seal has been broken, granting him access to the mighty Pigstar. The team regroups as Sherry quickly casts a spell on Sparkster, allowing our hero to lift off into the vast reaches of space where no possum has gone before, on a one-way suicide mission to the dreaded Pigstar. As Sparkster sneaks his way on board, he must waste little time breaching the entry wing to force his way in, finding himself traveling down a large hallway that opens out to an arena where he comes face to face with the Emperor, who is ready to take him up on that offer. A lovely duel to the death. As the two square off, the robust ruler will draw his blade, emanating with dark magic in which he wields to his will, sending a flurry of ghostly projections towards you to devour your soul. These attacks are quick, spammy, and hella tricky to maneuver past, and to make matters worse, his large stature makes him a real problem. He's every bit as flashy as he is fat and sassy, so time those pinwheels just right to parry this pork chop, sending him packing back to the butcher's block. As the fight wages forth, you soon realize something is off about the Emperor as he starts to flutter about, bursting at the seams into a pile of scrap parts. A robotic body double, of all things, but who or what's responsible for this? Well, we don't have time to speculate, because he will quickly reform, new and improved with all new play features too, mixing it up with some offensive theatrics with those go-go gadgets. He'll hover about, extending those long limbs for the perfect moment to strike. With enough patience and proper timing, you'll send this factory defect back to the assembly line. Well, maybe I spoke too soon, because there's a warehouse full of them. So, it's essentially the equivalency of chilling at the Amazon Fulfillment Center after hours. As you continue to uncover these bizarre events, the imagery only becomes more unsettling, and you're timing your strides perfectly to keep this clone war from overwhelming you. You eventually turn the power back on, and surprise, surprise, it looks as if Axel managed to catch a ride on board to see things through. As this third and final rematch kicks in the gear, our fearless doppelganger lunges towards you, whipping up a quick spurt of projectiles and firing up those engines to take flight, looking to score the pinfall. Your true equal right down to your maneuvers, so it's always good to ask yourself, if I was Axel, what would I do in this scenario? He's every bit the menace he claims to be, backing up his words with actions like any good rocket knight, unloading his offense, all while fending you off with those anti-air strikes. You're going to have to match his momentum, going blow for blow till something gives, boosting at just the right moment to catch him off guard, rocking him one too many times to send him packing as this battle takes an unsuspecting turn. As Axel takes a nosedive, the ship's infrastructure begins to cave at the seams, blowing open a hole directly out to space, a large vacuum that may potentially send these knights into a cosmic abyss. Hang tight, Sparkster, because Axel Gear is the ultimate opportunist, flying around this newly uncovered wormhole to send you on a quick trip through time. You'll need to maneuver across the structural support beams, fending off each attack till you find the moment to strike. If you can master his rhythms, you can overcome this act of treason, proving here and now just who the one true leader of the Rocket Knights is. Once you make your way to the Pigstar's central control room, things begin to come together, uncovering the ancient power which plagued your kingdom for generations. An ancient intelligence that has become sentient over time, like a bad future after investing in AI research, now looking to conquer what it set out to do long ago. With the seal broken, there's no stopping it from devouring the galaxy, one planet at a time. This intelligence cube will go through a gauntlet of reprogrammable attack sequences, which will require you to uncover its various algorithmic patterns, because if not, you'll soon be rocket fuel for the future machine world. This fight is very reminiscent of the Alien Wars finale, with the sentient brain of Java taking hold, only here you got a few extra accessory packs and a coat of arms to send you into orbit, looking to position yourself at the perfect angle and elevation to take this monster offline. Hasta la bye-bye, you wicked bitch. It's time to exit stage right to a nearby escape pod, set to the coordinates of good old planet Elhorn, as we now recline our seats back for a lovely view of the interstellar light show that now begins. Well, don't applaud this performance just yet, because in a shocking twist of events, this evil chatbot has found its way back to you for another series of trollish acts programmed to do one thing: survive in its pursuit to divide. Closing in on our space pod while showering down some electrical waves, swaying back and forth while extending its deadly appendages to reroute you to an all-new destination point. As the two continue to battle across space, they eventually begin their spiraling descent, busting into the planet's atmosphere, where the gravitational pull causes the Pigstar's core to quickly ignite into a ball of flames, withering away as it slowly burns around you. Sparkster braces for landing, wondering if he's next to become one with the lifestream. As he speeds through the blue skies, he finds an emergency hatch in just the right moment to eject himself out, parachuting down safely, reuniting with the lovely Princess Shelley, and reuniting her with Your Majesty, the King, for a heartwarming reunion. With Sparkster looking on, he realizes he has finally solidified his place among the legendary lineage of Rocket Knights, giving him the closure he needed with Axel Gear to place his mind at ease, as the legendary hero of Elhorn sets his sights on the clear skies for a sunny-filled flight to whatever journey awaits him next. You know, I may not have won that sweepstakes all those years ago, but after this playthrough, I got something much more valuable in return. A far greater appreciation for this little dude. RocketKnightAdventures absolutely deserves all the praise it can get. It most likely isn't a first option for those selecting their next adventure from a curated list of platforming games. It more so was an original work that was a complementary component that made this genre so special. It's a title that is held in high regards by those that have a rich knowledge and appreciation for these early works, and one that I believe over time will continue to be celebrated by fans. The game's execution is brilliant, taking so many of the best story tropes of old and tightly weaving them together with a level of finesse only Konami could capture. Nothing ever felt out of place or thrown together for the sake of giving us a challenge. The transition between various modes of gameplay was warranted, changing up the pace at just the right time for the perfect payoff. The narrative approach to this entire presentation is captured through the unique world building, starting us off with a highly descriptive backstory that translates to these in-game events stage by stage. This is creatively done through the underlying themes and cutscenes layered throughout, something you really didn't see in too many titles up until this point. There's so many little details layered throughout, sprinkled in like tiny Easter eggs waiting to be discovered, and the way these characters interact captures the very essence of Sparkster. This, my friends, is what I like to call long-term storytelling. The game can get damn challenging, but that was sort of Konami's stick in the 90s, so I didn't go into this expecting any different. This game has a little something for everyone, whether you enjoyed the traditional platforming segments, those high-speed shooter segments, or the heart-pounding action of a giant kaiju fight. This really delivered on all accounts, never taking the foot off the gas once, and that's honestly something I commend this for. It's a series for a true platforming enthusiast, so with all that praise and more, I salute you, young Sparkster, and I can only imagine what you have in store for us next, as we look to continue this venture across the Genesis library for another helping of the blast processing variety with Sparkster's greatest journey yet. See you there, gang.